Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that every time I upload a new video, you get the opportunity to see what I have prepared for you. For my already subscribers, I am so grateful. I am so grateful to you. Thank you so much for subscribing. It gives me the motivation to continue sharing more and more story about my life here, my experiences, and what I get to do daily, or anything that I get to encounter that might be different from what other people are experiencing out there. So let's get into the video. So today I'm going to talk about opportunities. Now, in Russia, yes, this question I've been asked severally ever since I came. What are the opportunities that are available in Russia? Now, it depends why you want to come into Russia, and also it depends level of education, and of course the main thing is why you want to come to Russia. Now, so there are ways you can come to Russia. You can come to Russia as a student. You can come to Russia as an employee, somebody who is working, or through business, having a partner, or through marriage. So I think there are four main, and five, which is tourism, like just a tourist to visit and see around. So those are the 5 ways you can come to Russia. So we have as a student, as a partner in business, married, like I said, tourist. What is the fifth one? Already forgotten. Oh, as an employee, somebody is employed, sorry. Okay, so let's start with as a business partner. So there are companies, yes, and one thing people need to understand about Russia is that during the USSR time, business was illegal. So when the USSR broke, and then that was in 1991, and then now the states separated, and now Russia became an independent state, and all the other states also became independent. They were just starting to learn how to evolve into this kind of new system, and for them that's when now businesses started coming up. So when it comes to businesses, Russia is still young, and there is a lot more for Russians to learn when it comes to business. Also, the kind of belief they have here is different. Where I'm from, it is capitalistic kind of system. Here, it's more of a communist, socialist kind of a system. So it is quite different. Because let me give you an example. If I want to buy something from a shop in a capitalist kind of environment, they will advertise it, they will want to convince you to buy this thing, and sometimes they may not give you the right information about the product, or they give you the information but not fully the way you expect. And then when you get the product after you bought it, then you understand that there is some kind of terms and conditions that were hidden maybe from you, which is quite a little bit different. Now, here, because most of them still are they have that mind of communists. Like if you go to a shop and you want to buy, let's say you go to a bakery, you want to buy bread, you will ask, is it today's bread? In a capitalist shop, they will tell you, yes, it's today's bread. Whether it was yesterday's or last week's, they'll tell you it is today, it is fresh, because for them, you have to sell it. Now here, you go to a shop, you ask, and they will tell you it is today's or it was yesterday's. They will make sure to tell you that if you ask. So that kind of honesty when it comes to business, it's not very common in a capitalist kind of environment, but in a communist or socialist kind of environment, it's like the daily thing, and they see that is the right thing, which is the right thing to do actually. When you're asked something about the products or services, you should provide all the necessary information that is required for somebody to make a decision. Now, people can, if you have opportunities, like you want to get into business with a Russian. I think there's so many kind of businesses you can do, from let's say from selling of raw materials like minerals. Yeah, if you have that kind of money, why not? You can, making of shoes, making of clothes. I see quite a number of people who have partners from other countries, and they're doing quite well. So there are several fields, but mostly that I've seen that succeeding is probably people in the mining industry, people in the clothing industry, people in the even banking industry, because there is a lot of how can I say, partners from outside who work with the Russian banks. So yeah. Also, the fact that right now there's sanctions, so most companies like PayPal, they're not working Western Union. So people who were sending money, they can't send money easily. So they have to maneuver or find a way to solve this problem, which is quite tricky. So that is a business opportunity. If you're somebody out there who would want to work with a Russian bank, for example, if you're in Kenya and there are students here who need money maybe from their family, or people who live in Russia and need to send back money to Kenya, maybe you can get in touch with some of these Russian banks and maybe work together to see how you can help with the money transfer from Russian banks maybe to M-Pesa accounts. So that is one opportunity that would be there for people who are thinking about business. Now let's go to marriage. Marriage, that one, it's not something I would say I have really, like a lot of knowledge about. But one thing I know, if you go and search in the internet, there are so many sites, dating sites. If you find yourself meeting a Russian, most probably it will be somebody who speaks a little English, because for those who speak just purely Russian, they don't speak English or any other language like French or German, it would be very rare to find them in these sites. So most of them who speak a little English, or like fluent English, you'll find them in these sites, and it could be easier for you. But also, as you meet this person, and if you're interested in this person and you want to start something serious, I think it's best to discuss like your terms, if you want to live in Kenya or you want to live in Russia, if you're ready for that kind of change, because it's a complete change, especially if you're moving from Africa, where there's a difference in climate, difference in time, difference in everything, culture, food, totally everything. And then you come to a different setting, maybe that is something you need to discuss with your partner. But Russian men or women are really nice people. As much as they don't smile, and it doesn't mean that these are bad people. They're actually very nice people, very friendly. You just need to give yourself time when you come here, and of course, people will treat you the way you treat them. If you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect. So that one is not something I'm going to sit down and say, oh, okay, I'm going to advise you to do this and that. No, the main thing is that you and your partner that you've met online get to discuss some of these things, that there are differences, and acknowledge it, and and try to compromise on each other's culture and the difference in that you might have. Okay, another way to come to Russia as a student. So there's so many universities here that offer very good and quality education here, especially in the medical industry, in the let's say in the engineering kind of career. If you're looking towards engineering, whether it's in IT or chemical engineering, nuclear engineering, all those kind of things, I think they have one of the best universities in the world. That one I can agree for sure. And also with IT, medical, engineering, That one for sure. They have one of the best so far that I know. And you, if you when you finish your studies here, of course you can get a job here. You can decide to live here, or you can decide to go back to your country and continue with your career in your country. So yes, of course there are opportunities, although there's just one maybe ultimatum. Okay, you can get English speaking universities, but it's not for all courses. For some courses you will have to learn Russian for 1 year before now you start the school year, like the normal studying. If you are studying medicine now, that's after 1 year of studying Russian, that's when you can start learning now medicine. So I think there are a couple of agencies, but strongly, if you are from Kenya, there is it's called Kenrus, that is on Gong Road. I can't remember, Green Mall. There on the second or third floor, there is a company called Kenrus, and they provide information about how you can come to Russia and study in Russia. So if you're looking for that kind of information, that is the best place to go if you're in Kenya. But if you're not in Kenya, I think there are so many study in Russia sites. You can just Google it, they're there, and you'll definitely find them. Okay, another opportunity that can be provided for you to come to Russia is as an employee. Okay, like a job, working. So most of the jobs that I know that are available, unfortunately, is for these hand jobs, like how would I say it, handy jobs, like sweeping or mopping, or not security guards. I've seen that one mostly is Russians, but selling in shops, sweeping and mopping, cleaning jobs, working in hotels as like a reception. No, reception is actually mostly it's Russians, but these let's say small jobs, yeah, they are quite available, and there's so many people, especially from the southern part of Russia, the countries from the southern side, that come to Russia to get these jobs, and they get good money. That one I can assure you, they get good money, because if you work in the city, if you're sweeping, some of them get as much as, let's say, 30,000 rubles, which will be, if I convert at the current rate, it will be around 500. No, oh my god, why is the calculation not working? Okay, 30,000 rubles. So $1 is around 65 rubles. So 65, $1 is 65 rubles. So what about 30,000 rubles? So 30,000 divided by 65. So that's the equivalent of dollars you will get for, I think it's around 50 something. I mean 500 and something. Yes. So that is the amount. It ranges between 20,000 rubles and 35. That is the highest that I know a sweeper can get. But it depends with where you work. If you work in a small town, of course you'll get less, but if you work in the big cities, mostly there's so many opportunities, so you can get quite a good amount of money. But for this other kind of jobs, because most Russians are really learned, like their average salary is quite impressive, because you'd find somebody who is a doctor, a teacher. The difference in their salary is very small. You know, it's not like when you go to Kenya, where when you check the payslip of a doctor and the payslip of a teacher, the difference is something that will be quite huge. But here it's almost the same level. So a teacher and a doctor, they get the same kind of respect, because you get almost the same kind of salary, just a little difference here and there. Because for them, I think they with the communist system, it ensured that there's a very small difference between a rich person and a poor or middle class person, and still even the poor citizens, they get support from the government. Like if you are a mother and you have kids, you get support from the government. They pay you some amount of money that you can take care of your kids quite well. So I think when it comes to jobs, I think these guys are really lacking, to be honest. They have taken good care of their people. Yeah. Unless you're just greedy. If you're greedy, of course, and you have the capitalist kind of mentality, it's not the best place for you to work, because if you come here and want to work as a doctor, it will be quite disappointing. You will not be expecting to get that crazy amount of money. Or as an engineer, you'll just get an average salary that will, it's good enough. Not if an engineer, because, for example, if an engineer from Russia goes and starts working in a place like Kenya, they will be getting like good money. Yeah. So that is the other difference about Russia with Kenya or other countries. Another way you can come to Russia is as a tourist. So there are tourist visas that are given, and this tourist visa, they are 90 days, and you get that is the maximum time you are allowed to live here. But of course it comes with the conditions, like you need to get an invitation, whether from the like I forgot to mention that if you have to come here as an employee, you have to get an invitation from the agency or the organization that is going to employ you. So without that, there's no way you will get into Russia. Like if you don't see that in your what is it called, a call to come to work in Russia, please don't come. Just confirm, because there's no way they will allow you without that invitation. Is very important. That is the main thing. Without that, they can't allow you. So if you're coming as a tourist, also of course they will need to see your invitation, and also your invitation needs to be confirmed that it's from a known like agency or company, tourist company. Yeah. If you are coming as you're coming to see your family, of course you need to get the private visa, and the private visa is different from the tourist visa or the student visa. So there are quite some number of conditions, like the person who is inviting you, your host, needs to put some amount of money in their account. I think around $1,500 in their account for a period of time within which you will be living here. Also, they need to apply for your invitation. So once they apply for your invitation and the bank receipt to show that you have this amount of money in your account, now when they go to the embassy in the other country, they will be given they will go with the invitation, then they will be the printed out invitation, and then they'll be given the visa to come to Russia. So it depends also, are you coming as family or are you coming as a friend, or like there are terms that you have to adhere to. So I think I've mentioned the ways in which you can come to Russia. Basically, those are the ways. But if maybe there's something I've forgotten, I'll be sure to add in the description box. If there's something maybe you didn't understand or you'd want to know, to get more information about,